Thunderbird 2 ready for liftoff. Thunderbirds are go. Just going past the charity shop. Oh, look what I see down there, and the price is $30. Oh yeah. Also just noticed that, isn't that Darth Vader's suit? It's not his alien face, I'm pretty sure that's Darth Vader. I've now got into the shop and I'm going to come in and grab it, yeah. You beauty, yeah. I've just moved away from the radio. I can't get the pod out, but I believe Thunderbird 4's in there because I can hear it clanking around in the pod. The pod's been put in like the wrong side. There's also something else in here that I'm going to grab. And this is not my normal charity shop because, well, it vaporised a while back. And if I come up here... dun, dun, dun. Come to me, Thomas. Come to me. Okay, yes, it's missing some parts, this one. I don't mind about that. I often seen that through charity shops, but it is the right price. Yes, up the top there, it's telling me $5. Well, the first thing that this is saying to me is, where's the love gone? I can't see any scratches and bits of obvious play. But for me, this one's a keeper. I'm just looking carefully here, and there's not much else shouting at me, mind you. What is that little thing there? It's a little tram. That's rather cute, isn't it? The wheels don't move, it's $1. I think that's like a little Melbourne tram. Well, I'll take that or will I leave it? Oh, that's the problem. I start to grab things and then you end up with all this stuff. I'm still looking on the shelves here, so you can see what's going on here. I've got to have something which is punching out at me. No, we don't do any Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, over there. Your standard sort of fare, isn't it? Maybe. Okay, yeah, maybe these two guys here. Yes, yes. And I might also grab this one here and this Happy Meal toy here. Yes, that was a great series. It was a Christmas train, fantastic. And that's actually $2, which is the price they are at McDonald's. Sometimes it pays to move things around. Okay, I'm definitely getting this one here, and you'll understand why maybe, hopefully one day. And this one's a curious one. I'm not going to get this. It's some sort of servery thing, food thing, which is based as a train. That's weird. Imagine if that was Thomas themed, then I'd definitely get it, but it can stay here. And just down here I noticed another train thing, and I've got a Thomas version of this. I'm pretty sure this isn't a Thomas version, but the Thomas version I've got of this style of toy is awesome. You don't often see this around. That's $6 on that one. It's a nice toy. You know, that's really nice. I like toys like that, and that can be left here for someone who really wants it. Well, that's my haul there. I only came in out of curiosity, and I think the bonus ones in there is that Thunderbird 2 and of course the Thomas toy. Yeah. I'm back home, and the toys that I grabbed are in the back of the car, and I'm just going to take a look at this Thunderbird 2 very quickly. Now that I can see it properly, the pod is actually in back the front because the door of the pod is here, and I tried everything I could to manipulate this out, and I haven't been able to. It's very hard to do it one-handed, and what I've got here is basically a screwdriver and all. I'm going to try and just wedge it out, also give it a couple of taps of a hammer, and let's see if I can free the pod from Thunderbird 2. Well, after a fair bit of manipulation and pushing down and also hitting the buttons there, I was able to get the pod free. Okay, Thunderbird 4, aha! Thunderbird 4 is looking very, very worse for wear. So there's been some very major underwater disasters going on there. Oh, that was curious, isn't it? The pod was near impossible to remove. Like in store, I tried and tried and tried, and it's got a damaged Thunderbird 4. Okay, yes, well, I like this for the fact I've got another pod. When you've got a Thunderbird 2, you like to have as many pods as you possibly can. But the other thing about this toy is it's not really that badly damaged. It's in pretty good nick. It's missing a few antennas at the front. The mechanism for the legs, which I always thought was one of the weakest links on this, it's still okay because it's one of these things where the wings go up and the legs deploy. Yes, quite curious. I can't see any plastic distress going on the legs, which is what you see when things go awry. Yes, quite curious to see that all that mechanism still acting properly. I've just noticed the Thunderbird 4's also got a little name under here. So Jamie McRae. That was his Thunderbird 2 and Thunderbird 4. Well, guess what? It's mine now, and I've actually got a bit of a plan for this Thunderbird 2. I'm going to develop some pyro charges and try and shoot a miniature of one of these craft landing, like in the old tradition of the classic Thunderbird series. That's my plan for this one here. And the other very important thing to do is to make sure there are no batteries left in these toys, because batteries become the killer of toys like this because they start to leak. And it's got no batteries and it's nice and clean in there. I'm often talking about battery compartments when I look at the Thomas toys, and there's another place on this toy I'd like to look, and we'll flip it over. It's up in the pilot area, because this was well, just put it this way, had an elaborate sticker set, and I've just got to remember how to open up the front bit here. Okay, it's like that. Oh well, there you go. The sticker set has never been applied, and that's what it looks like. I think there's seats missing there as well. Doesn't bother me because, well, this Thunderbird 2 is going to have a bit of a pyro adventure. The other nice thing to do to these toys is give the pod some nice detailing inside in whichever way you like. I think it makes the world of difference to playing with these toys and enjoying them. What do you think? $30 for this Thunderbird 2 and Thunderbird 4. Curious that the pod was jammed in, but I couldn't see the Thunderbird 4. I could hear it rattling around, but little did I know it was damaged. Do you think that there, in the end, was worth the $30? Please let me know. I can tell you this, you don't often see the supersized Thunderbird toys in charity shops. I was very surprised to see that. It was in the front window, so that's saying, yes, this is a prime item to have. You see them online, they always tend to pull a good price. I haven't seen the Thunderbird 1 supersize of this style of Thunderbirds or this series from Vivid Toys. So I don't know what's gone on with that. I have the Thunderbird 3. Of course, the Thunderbird 2 was the first one to come out with Thunderbird 4, of course. Maybe the audience knows what happened to Thunderbird 1. As for this Thomas the Tank, I think I've got one of these already in my collection. Down at my old charity shop, this would have been like a $1 toy to me, but hey, I'm not going to ripple about price. Even though it's got parts missing, it's really just for my Thomas collection. And the funny thing is, when people see this in a charity shop and they see that missing, they tend to turn off. That's what I've noticed. I can't think for the life of me how this one plays out. I know it's got that safety feature, and I'm pretty sure that's a pretty vigorous wheel on this Thomas. Someone in my audience who knows their Thomas stuff will remember the name of this toy, and I think it's a 2009 era Thomas, so it's quite some time back that these ones are about. Well, you'll understand why I've got those two, but you're probably thinking, what are you doing with that Bob the Builder stuff? And there's maybe one that I don't quite understand here. I'm not sure whether that's Bob the Builder or not. I've had a very good look around this. You can see it was $2. When you move it along, that bit there goes up and down. I think there's a whole set of Bob the Builder stuff that isn't clearly marked, and I think that's, I don't know. Put it that way. Let it roll back there. This is definitely Bob the Builder. Is it muck? I don't know. Look, I'm not going to sound like an expert because I'm not an expert on Bob the Builder. But this is the, let's say, the classic style of Bob the Builder toys. There's a price there, $4 for this. I'm heading towards a review of the classic versus the ones that came out in the last couple of years. Oh, what's that one? Lofty. Whew, just hope I got the name right there. That's from the classic style, okay. Yes, it's Learning Curve toy. How much was that? $4. I've got lots and lots of these from my charity shop. Funnily enough, I collected them up because I wanted to take a look at Bob the Builder and how it morphed and changed. And this is a scoop from the more recent era. Oh, the era that, let's just say, Bob the Builder struggled in. And I saw lots and lots of Bob the Builder toys. Well, basically the price dumped. So when the prices get dumped, how much do they pay for that? $2. Okay, yes. So what's that telling us about Bob the Builder? And just to prove to you about the Bob the Builder toys, and while I'm here, I'll just show you the Thomas and Friends toys that you haven't seen from the old charity shop. It's this box, this box, that box. This box is the new charity shop that I've engaged with, and so is that Thomas there. This whole tub of Thomas Wooden Railway, that was from the old charity shop. I think there's more Thomasy stuff there, but there's these two boxes here. The Bob the Builder stuff. This is the classic Bob the Builder toys. There is some great stuff in there. I'm still trying to get my head around it. That is the new show, which is quite curious because the prices on the new toys dumped. And if I get this Lofty here, and it was a toy that started off at about $10 in the shops, and then the price plummeted to $3. Uh-oh, Bob the Builder was in a bit of trouble. I just put that there, and also this toy here, Hazard Muck. I hopefully got Muck the right name when I was out the boot of the car. How much did I pay for that in the end? $2. Okay, yeah, so something had gone on with Bob the Builder where for some reason the toys just stopped selling. Yes, it has been extremely curious what happened to Bob the Builder, and I've just seen in that box there, I've got a scoop from the classic Bob the Builder series. It's a tote case. I've also got Bob the Builder merchandise there, and also a little bit of knockoff Bob the Builder I saw getting about. So that's basically merchandise in a sense. This is the newer toys from the series that sort of failed, and these are the toys from their classic Bob the Builder series that everyone seemed to love. I'll just explain my intentions with this Thunderbird because it probably sounded like old-fashioned techno-babble. Back in the original Thunderbirds, there were real pyro charges put underneath the Thunderbird for its downward thrust, and also when it took off, there were real pyro charges put into the back jets there. And I'm just going to do a test here. I've got one of the downward thrusting things. This is purely just me showing you an idea. And I'll shoot this at a higher speed video that my iPhone can do, just to give you a concept of the way it used to be done. One really important element to this is having a fan to give some positive airflow across the craft here. And if you watch the original Thunderbird series, what I noticed was they would set maybe the 3 jets here only. The back jet wouldn't be set because I think they were trying to limit the smoke. Okay, let's see if I can light this up. See how it looks. Well, in real time, it looks like Dodgy Brothers, it would have been very artful to perform the puppeteering of the Thunderbird, plus lighting all the charges. And I've left a mark there. That's a good sign of how Thunderbird 2 would leave a landing mark. And maybe the best way to look at that is to take a look at the slow motion video of that same event, and all of a sudden it starts to look very different. On the real Thunderbird show, they would have been using some very high-speed film cameras. It would have been very coordinated, doing the puppeteering, dropping the craft, lighting the charges, and just making sure that everything was in place when they did these events, which in real time would have happened in a very short space of time. And sadly, why I failed school was the better part of my childhood was watching a TV show that featured models like this with pyro charges underneath. I have made a charge here that I'm going to put into the back jet here because these also had pyro charges in the original series. Yes, the wonders of mounting tape to space things out. That's what I'm doing to make that fit in there. And I think the trickiest part in the original series would have been the way they ignited these charges. Very, very clever pyro work. Again, make sure my fan is on. It's going to be pushed back a fair way just so there's a bit of a breeze coming over here so it pulls the smoke away. At my house, Thunderbirds are always go. I've got this saying, if it looks good in real time, it's going to look good in slow motion. Look, I've even got a scorch mark, just like a real Thunderbird would leave. But the real magic will be revealed when we take a look in slow motion. Oh yeah, I like it. Do you think I've got the look of the way the original series was done? I've just been mucking around with ideas, man. I can get a much better effect than this. And that is why I was very interested in that relatively cheap Thunderbird 2 from the charity shop. So there you go, a little sneak peek into the Dinosaur Artform of miniature pyro. It's not really needed these days, it's all turned to CGI. And I can just show you the charge there. There you go, I pulled it out. And most importantly, I haven't fried up the wondrous model. There's one thing I know, the old model makers get fairly grumpy if you start burning up their wondrous model work.